Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been told by Ed Woodward that his position is not under threat despite recent bad results. This, to me, is a final warning for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because, yes, I agree that we all know that Manchester United have got no intention of sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment. But if they think that they have the power to not sack him no matter what, they're very, very wrong. And obviously the dreaded vote of confidence over the years has always been the job is safe and then in weeks they are sacked. So is this a vote of confidence for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? No, I don't think that it is. But I do think it's a final warning. Your job is safe despite bad results. But bad results can go to even worse results. And have no doubt about it, there is a tipping point where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have to be sacked. And I think any ex-player, any fan, any club will know that. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to turn this situation round. Patience is being shown. Some would say stupid patience. Some would say good patience. But the reality is, in relation to Manchester United, how do they turn this around? And I got a very good email last night, actually, from Tom Matthews, who said, you know, a lot of negativity. I'm not going to knock you for that. But you talk about all the bad things. How does he turn this around if you know it, if you know so much? And I think it's a really good point there, because how does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer turn this around? Look, Allegri is coming out, topical thing here today. Allegri has been told to snub the Bayern Munich job and play the long game for the Manchester United job. That worries me. I'd rather Allegri took the Bayern Munich job, because I don't want Allegri at Manchester United. I just want to say that now. There's talk of Timo Werner again. But with regards to Allegri, I don't want Allegri at Manchester United. I think, you know, he did a very good job in Italy with a very big club that was the best club in Italy. So, you know, coming to Manchester United, the mess we're in, why is Allegri the person to do that job? I think that cannot be the candidate with that. But the interesting thing about United are looking to raid the deal that Liverpool want to do with Timo Werner. That's the sort of thing that Manchester United need to do. Now, there's a few things I'm going to go through here, but if you look at that team on the left-hand side, when everybody is fit, I think that is the best side Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can put out without injury, without signing players, sorry. So we know, and there's a bit of controversy in there, but there's also a bit of positivity in there. And look, that team on the left is not a top four side, but we are not a top four side. Manchester United are not a top four side. And I keep touching my t-shirt because I like it. If you want to get one of these, you can get one. Link in the video description for the United Stand t-shirt range. But yeah, look, you look at that. It's got Twansebi in it. It's got Williams in it. It's got Rashford in it. It's got McTominay in it. There's a good mixture of our own developed youth. That's a good start. Lindelof's not there. And it's not. I'm not a hater of Lindelof. I like Lindelof, but I don't like Maguire and Lindelof. They don't work well together. There's a lack of pace. They don't complement each other as centre backs. They're not going to be a Bruce and Pallister, and they're not going to be a Rio or Vidic. They don't complement each other. Twansebi would complement Lindelof and he will complement Maguire. And Maguire's the number one centre-back. So Maguire and Twansebi. Twansebi's recovery pace, his strength in the air, him and Maguire, for me, should be the centre-back pairing to build out. And I think Ollie will do that. Williams or Shaw is interesting. I'd let them both battle it out. But long-term, Luke Shaw seems a bit injury-prone to me. And Williams, you know, why not? Why not? We're building the future. So I'd go Williams. Fred and McTominay's not good enough, but it's the best of what we've got. Pogba's not here in the long term, but he's the best that we've got. So that would be my midfield three, with Pogba in a more advanced position. And I think Rashford, Martial and James at the moment are the best of what we've got. There's a best of what we've got about that team. And before we get to the tactics and how Ollie can improve us tactically, I think he's got to start playing that team on the left as much as possible. He may not get signings in January. So if he doesn't, he's got a long-term go with that team. But best for now is definitely the statement that's coming out. And what Manchester United need to do, and it's all right Ed Woodward saying, your job's safe, Ollie, don't worry about the rubbish results, the job is safe. The big thing that Manchester United need to do, and this is down to Woodward, this is down to the Glazers, I mean, ridiculous comments coming out today about Marcus Rojo. Like, there was an actual article. This is what I mean, the propaganda. I mean, do listen to the podcast. Links in the video description. Some real exclusive stuff from inside Manchester United about on the podcast today. Some stuff that will blow your mind that it's too long to go into on this show, and also it's not fair to take the stuff off the podcast and bring it on here. The podcast is its own exclusive outlet, but some really big inside information about Pogba, about the mess and chaos that reigns at Manchester United. Really good stuff in there. But interesting that in the press today, there's a lot about Rojo. Oh, what a great decision it was by Manchester United to keep Rojo. He's been a really good signing. He's been a really good player to keep, and they're not going to get rid of him in January. And it actually quoted in one article, the fans may not like the Glazers, but they must be applauded for keeping Rojo. Oh yeah, I bet the Glazer brothers were sat there in America around their bloody barbecue going, let's keep Rojo on the last day of the transfer window. They've got no involvement in Rojo staying at all. The Glazers don't get involved in signing players. They probably don't even know what a football is. It's ridiculous though, but it's the propaganda that floats around Manchester United at the moment. Everybody's obsessed with self-preservation. There's a spoiler. Make sure you listen to the podcast. I can't say any more. But it is. It's ridiculous, the sort of stuff that's being thrown out there at the moment, trying to make it stick. All they're trying to do is throw as much stuff at you, the fan, to try and make you go, oh, actually, they're not doing a bad job, instead of trying to sorting out what's going on. And what's this talk of Rojo being a beast at the moment? Oh, Rojo's activated beast mode. I'm so glad we didn't get rid of him. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad we didn't get rid of Rojo. It's only a couple of weeks ago he played against Liverpool and decided to go and do his Tesco shopping and wander off and let Lallana equalise, isn't it? Oh, Rojo's been brilliant for us. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant Rojo's been. Playing in a back three with two centre-backs holding his hand. Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. I just don't get it. He's just an Argentinian Phil Jones and he'll be injured again soon and he can't make toast. But Manchester United in the transfer window have got to be, if they're going to back Ollie, and I don't think Ollie long term is going to work. I've said that before. I'm not Ollie out, but I don't think he's going to work. I don't think he's good enough for the job. That I really don't. In a respectful way, I just don't think he is. I hope he proves us wrong. But if he is going to be, if it's all right, Woodward saying to Ollie, "Your job's safe. Don't worry about the bad results. Your job's safe." But that's just words. Woodward and co have got to go and do something outrageous in January to turn this mood around, because I think we're going to limp to Christmas. I think we will. I think we will get a couple of good results, then we'll drop points, maybe a couple of draws. I think around Christmas time we won't be anywhere near top four. We might, if we're lucky, we might get to 6th or 7th, but realistically I think we might be around mid-table still on Christmas Day. So then you've got January very, very soon after. That's when the board have got a decision to make. They clearly don't want to sack the manager, so you've got to go and do something in January that normally you wouldn't want to do. You can't leave it all till the summer. We had the same conversation last year. You've got to get a couple of signings in January because there's not enough time in the summer. Oh no, January market's really hard. What happened in the summer? Yeah, we signed Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and Dan James, good signings. We didn't get any midfielders. They pretend that they've got the money, they pretend that the right players weren't there. The facts are they didn't have the time to do the deals because we take a month to do one deal and we sold Lukaku. So we had no time to sell Pogba. We had no time to get new midfielders in. So they've got to they've got to use January properly, and they've got to be outrageous in January. Like, if Ollie is the man for the future, go and get him Haaland from Salzburg. If Ollie is the man for the future, go and get Timo Werner from Leipzig. Go and get Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Do it in January. Go and do it in January, because what have we got to lose? Our season is basically over in January. The top four is going to be gone by then. So what's the point in waiting until the summer, trying to rush it and get everything you need in the summer, when you could get one or two in January and say, no pressure, you've got between now and May to get used to the league and hit it hard next season. So they've got to go and do that. If Ollie is the man, and that's what we keep being told, if Ollie is the man, transfers-wise, they've got to go and make big statements. If they go and sign Mandzukic, let's all go on holiday till next season, because it's a waste of time. There's no longevity in it, there's no future in it, and it's not the right player to go and get. So big statements. And when you look at that team on the left, you're looking at, what do United need? I think we always wait until the summer to do this, but we didn't really have the summer we needed. You look at that team there, Pogba's gone. Dan James isn't really a right winger, so you need a right winger, you need another striker, that's 2 players, you need 2 midfielders, that's 4 players. So we need 4 players, 2 midfielders, a right winger and a striker. That's what United desperately do need. But it doesn't stop there, of course, because that's for January, that's for next summer, that's something that the board can help him with. What does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do between now and the end of the season, or now and January, where there's loads and loads of games? It is an absolute contradiction that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the smiling assassin, the baby-faced assassin, goal scorer. He's managing Manchester United and he is a defensive coach. It contradicts what he's all about. And actually, I remember looking at Solskjaer when he came a year ago, or just under a year ago, and everyone was like, oh, how does Solskjaer play with Mulder? How did he do it with Cardiff? Well, with Cardiff, don't panic here, because you might panic. With Cardiff, he lurched between different 11s and different formations pretty much every week, and they got relegated. At Mulder, he was more of a 4-3-3, and things like centre-back splitting to receive the ball, triangle pressing on each side of the pitch, quick movement of the ball, lots of chances created. These are the things that we saw in the first 3 months under Ollie, and we've not really seen again. That's what his sort of tactics are meant to be about. But in the immediacy, how does he get Manchester United back on track? How does he save his job? Well, let's pretend we're not going to go, he can't do it, he's not good enough. How does he do it? Because there are two major issues that I've looked at Manchester United tactically and thought this is where it's going wrong. I can see the influence of Michael Carrick on Scott McTominay and Fred. I saw a pass from Scott McTominay against Bournemouth that, if I hadn't corrected my eyes, I thought it was Michael Carrick back playing in the Manchester United midfield. He's in the centre circle and he plays a lovely sweeping ball across the ground 30 yards forward to a United player on the edge of the box. And I can't remember who it was, and I'm not going to hate on them because I can't remember who it was. It could have been James, it could have been Rashford, it could have been Martial, it could have been Lingard or Pereira, I don't know. They got the ball and they lost it. And I thought, that's a Carrick pass straight away. That's what Carrick used to do. He'd be able to pass 40 yards along the ground and get us on the attack and just take out the opposition midfield. The problem with that is that I think it might have took the player by surprise, but even if it didn't, they lose the ball. So you lose that thing. And this is where Manchester United have their problems, is that even if McTominay and Fred do start playing those balls quicker, which they haven't been, have we got the quality of player in the final third to pick that ball up and do something with it? And I don't think we have. I don't think Rashford's first touch is brilliant. I don't think James's first touch is brilliant, especially centrally. And I think Pereira and Lingard are too conservative in that area as well. So you can start to see Manchester United have got to move the ball quickly from back to front. But it's risk. It's risk. It's taking a risk. And it's pressing that button to take risks. Ollie talks about risk. I've seen him over his last few press conferences after the game saying, we've got to take more risks. But we're not taking more risks. And that could be because actually it's just talk and they're being told not to take risks. Or the players just don't have it in their footballing DNA to do it. When you look at Jesse Lingard when he comes on at that number 10 position, or he starts in that number 10 position, Jesse Lingard's always been a player that likes a sideways pass or a backwards pass. He moves well off the ball, but on the ball, his stats don't lie. His assists and goals are terrible. But a lot of that is because he's a negative player in the way he plays football. He's a sideways passer. He's a safe passer. He's not somebody who gets on the ball and will look and try and play a forward pass with an element of risk. That's not what he does. And Pereira's pretty much the same as well. So United need risk takers in that team. And I don't know that we actually have one. We could have had one in the summer. His name was Bruno Fernandes. But United need to start taking risks. And it's across the whole team. They've got to start playing the percentages. We don't create enough chances. And that's not all on the number 10. That's on the team collectively. But it's got to come from the manager and it's got to come from the coaching staff. We've got to start taking risks. Because if we are going to stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think that there is an argument to say that this season is already over. It's over already. We've got very little chance of getting top 4. We're going to keep this manager, and he's probably going to be here next year as well. But if we're going to stick with this manager and this coaching staff and this setup, which we clearly are, then there has to be something for the fans to buy into, because all we're going to see is less and less interest, less and less passion for Manchester United, which is a sad thing. Ollie and his team have got to show us something that gives us something to buy into. And you saw it with Norwich last week, and even Chelsea, where it was just a penalty and a free kick that won it. There are fans that want to be positive. I want to be positive, but they've got to give us something. And it can't just be, oh, look at this youth player. It's got to be the team. The team has got to perform. The team has got to deliver. They've got to start taking risks. And those risks are, Harry Maguire, instead of looking for a 5-yard pass to your left, to your other centre-back, move into the space, commit a player of the opposition, move them into that space, run at them a bit. Or when someone comes towards you, play a forward pass. The same with Fred, the same with McTominay. Start looking for that forward pass. And the same with the front three. Start anticipating that forward pass. Start pulling your player out to run in behind. There's not enough of that going on. If you watch Manchester United, it's very, very boring. And there's not enough of it going on. We don't see it enough. We don't see Dan James coming deep and spinning into space for a ball over the top. We don't see a Rashford coming short to get the ball and then instantly turning into space and looking for a quick 1-2. We've seen glimpses of it. We can do it. That goal between Rashford and Martial against Norwich was a prime example, but we need to start doing it more. I accept that the player's confidence is on the floor, and when you're not feeling confident, there is that go into your shell, start playing a simple pass sort of thing. But it's a team ideology. We play way too defensive. And the important thing is as well, if we do start playing more risk-taking football, we will start to create more chances and we will start to stretch the opposition. And I can hear people saying, well, if we start to take more risks, our good defence will become more exposed. But in the Premier League, you've got to accept that you're going to probably concede a goal in a game. If you get a clean sheet, great, but you're probably going to concede a goal. If you're not scoring at the other end, then you're just delaying the inevitable. Like Bournemouth got their goal and they won the game. We were 1-0 down for most of that game. Well, over half a game, and it remained that till full time. Liverpool are losing 1-0 to Aston Villa in the 87th minute. They get an equaliser and they go and win it as well. It's that relentless risk-taking to go and win a game that United are so reluctant to do, and we've got to start doing it. And let's not forget, we spent 50 million on a new right back and 80 million on a new centre back. We've got one of the world's best goalkeepers as well. So we've got very, very good defenders that should be able to deal with the odd occasion where we are taking a risk and we get broke upon. We're playing like a team that's got a crap defence, and we've got a good defence. We don't need to double up on our defence and have two centre defensive midfielders there. We need to be more risk taking, and that's the second thing I would talk about as well. Why are we playing two CDMs? Like, make McTominay more box-to-box and let Fred sit. Or let McTominay sit and let Fred be more box-to-box with the other midfielder. We've got to start taking more risks. And if Ollie is going to stay in the job, he's got to start showing a vision that the fans can start believing in. Because we haven't seen Manchester United play to a way or philosophy all season. We haven't. We've been stuck in this, monotonous game-to-game grind, and yeah, there's been some good results, but there's not been any consistency. There's not been any, that's how we play. And you can say, well, you can't really compare us to Liverpool and Man City because they're doing well and they've obviously got a way of playing, but even Everton have got a way of playing, and they're nearly in the bottom three. I think they are in the bottom three. Sheffield United have got a way of playing. Brighton have got a way of playing. If you spoke to a Brighton fan, they'd know what their best 11 is, what their formation is, and how the manager wants to set them up. We're Manchester United, and to be honest, for the last 4 years, not just under Ollie, we've been a team that we don't know what our best 11 is, we don't know what our formation is, and we don't know what our philosophy is. And that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to show. You can't just keep hiding in bed. He's got the security blanket of you're not going to get sacked, don't worry, I'm not going to sack you despite the results. But he can't just keep going game to game grinding out. With that security that he's getting from the club, Ollie needs to be experimental. He needs to try and show us something, because by being experimental, he might find something that actually works. And I think that's what he needs to do. But I do think it's a bit of a final warning for Ollie. I know everyone's like moaning, saying, Woodward's coming out saying that his job's not in danger. He's got, despite bad results, he's going to be here. There's even talk that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs more time to change the team from the one he inherited from Mourinho. But I think that's really unfair. And I don't normally defend Mourinho, but why are we still talking about the team that Ollie inherited from Mourinho? Because Ollie's already made some very, very big decisions around that. He's brought Maguire in, Wan-Bissaka and Dan James. They're nothing to do with Mourinho. He's given a 5-year contract to Phil Jones. Well, that's a Mourinho player. He still picks Ashley Young at left back. He's a Mourinho player. McTominay was a player that Mourinho developed, really, and gave him his chance. Fred is a Mourinho signing, so we don't seem to be moaning about that either. I don't really see much of the Mourinho legacy being an excuse for Ollie anymore, because Ollie has kept, he got rid of Lukaku and Sanchez. He doesn't pick Matic. So, yeah, they're part of the Mourinho legacy and they were negatives, but Ollie's not using them anyway. So he needs to start showing what he's all about. That would be my positive message. If he is going to be successful, he's got to start doing something. But the problem is, and the fitness thing's massive as well. I'd almost say this is a third point. And I'm glad that people, I know we'll have the hardcore United standards watching to this point, because, you normally get the better stuff towards the end. I do it on purpose. This is big. And it sort of gets a mention in the podcast, so it's not a spoiler, but make sure you do listen to the podcast. Some really good information in there about United and the problems and the chaos. But the fitness thing has been a joke. United, if you kept an eye on it, I can't remember the name of the person, but United have appointed fitness people over the last few months. And the feeling is, around Manchester United, is that they're a mess in this particular area as well. Around the fitness coaching, there is a real concern and lack of trust in what is going on around the fitness side of Manchester United, almost to the extent that it is amateur hour in there. Like, the people they've got in there are just not up to the job. And I've got to say that it's something that's baffled me. I remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came into the club, and I had a real concern that the way Mourinho played pragmatic football, I think we were down near the bottom of the league in relation to distance covered. I knew that Ole would want to play a more energetic football for United, and I agree with that. I agree. Even talking about Mourinho's pragmatic style makes me yawn, and I agree with that. But what's gone wrong this season? Ole spoke about it was Ole's excuse for last year. I came in, we got them energised, we had 3 months, and we just fell off a bit. But over the summer, we're going to get those fitness levels right up. I don't want people going on holiday in June and thinking, not doing their fitness work. I want them on it. And we saw all the pictures, didn't we? 2 weeks before United were back in training, you had Luke Shaw, McTominay, Rashford, Lingard all doing their fitness work. And then we were out on tour, and the fitness work we're doing is great. We're going to be so more energetic as a team. Have we really seen that in any game this season? No. So for all this talk about my team's going to be fitter than Mourinho's, it's going to be more energetic, we're going to be high tempo press, we haven't seen it. We are pressing, the stats are there, we are pressing and we are an energetic side. The problem is we're not doing it for 90 minutes. We are dropping off in the second half. A cliff. Like, it's not as simple as telling a joke and saying, oh, United go in at half time and Ole lets them go on their phone and do their hair and doesn't talk tactics, and then they come out and they're clueless. It's also a fitness thing as well. We come out in the second half and we drop off a cliff. The energy levels go. The concentration levels go. Massive red alerts in relation to fitness. Because if you think about it, when you're on a run, that first mile, well, say first mile, that knackers me out anyway, but that first mile, your concentration levels are good, your fitness levels are good. That 10th mile, you stumble and you feel it. You're like, oh God, I've lost my momentum, and it's harder to get back into your rhythm. The concentration levels drop, the more tired you become, and the body becomes less responsive the more tired you come. What we're seeing with Manchester United in the second half is not just about bad tactics at half time and bad team talks. It's also about tired players losing concentration and losing their energy. And that's dropped off in every second half of this season. So I would say, actually, under Mourinho, we were far more pragmatic, but we were more of a 90-minute side. There was a lot of goals we were scoring late on, especially this time of the season. Remember against Juventus, we did it a couple of times. We were scoring a lot of goals in the second half. In fact, under Mourinho and Van Gaal, we were traditionally the 0-0 FC. We're into an interesting point here, a very interesting point. Smash a like on the video if you're enjoying it, because we're on to an interesting point here. Under Mourinho and Van Gaal, we were 0-0 at half-time, and we would go and get the result in the second half. Remember, famously against Newcastle, 2-0 down at half-time, Mourinho's going to lose his job, we win 3-2. Do you think this Solskjaer side could be 2-0 down to Newcastle at home at half-time and win 3-2? Because I don't. We're an awful second half team. We've got no fitness. And this is a real worry at United, because look at all the injuries we've got. Look at how lazy we are in the second half. Well, lazy is not the word, but out on our feet. We're knackered in the second half. And yet, this was one of Ole's big selling points. I'm going to get this team really, really fit. And it doesn't get any mainstream media attention because they're not clever enough to actually look back at the things, because they're not fans of the club. They don't analyse things the way we do. But we can say, why is Ole coming out saying that he's got money for midfielders and he chose not to sign them? We were going to blame Woodward for that, and now Ole's took the blame for that. Why are we so tactically inept when in the first 3 months Ole was brilliant, and now he's playing like a B-Tech version of Jose Mourinho? We've got to blame Ole for that. And now Remember Ollie was going on about fitness? Oh, we're going to be so fit this season, and we've been awful in every second half this season, and we've got no fitness. It's a real concern, and it's a real concern in the club, and there's a lot going on about it. Loads of injuries, and the fitness levels are a joke. So this is the problem at United. It's not just the coach, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaching staff, it's not just the board, it's not just Woodward and co. It's also all the other things that are going on that we maybe don't think about. The scouting network, is that up to it? Woodward said the other day, oh, there's people who've been in this club for 10 years plus scouting. Well, it's not been a very good 10 years for scouting, has it? So there's incompetence and concerns in that club from top to bottom. And it's not just Glazers, Woodward, through to Solskjaer, through to the players. There's fitness, there's scouting, there's recruitment. There's loads of areas. But the fitness one is a big, big thing. We are struggling big time. And is it going to get better at the start of November? You know, we said this when Ollie came in last December. You can't really do a lot about fitness work once the season's up and running. It's just about topping it up a little bit. Well, we've come into this season and we are under-equipped. We have not come into this season raring to go with high fitness levels. We've come into this season limping, and we're going to keep limping, and I think we're going to get more injuries, and I think we're going to become more tired in the second half. It's a huge concern that nobody really wants to talk about. But that, you know, the headline is Solskjaer's final warning, and I think it is from Woodward. I think Woodward's saying, you know, your job's not under threat despite bad results. Well, it is under threat. It's a lie. It's not true, because if he was to lose to Brighton and Sheffield United, he's probably gone. I don't think we will lose both those games, but he has got to be close to the sack because of the size of the club. The club don't want to sack him though, so how does he turn this around? Risk. He's got to go risk. He's tried defensive. He's tried these 3-5-2s. He's tried this let's sit back and counter-attack. He's got to start taking risks. He's got to start telling his front three and his midfield three, start taking risks. Start moving into spaces. Start moving the ball quicker. Start looking for passes, because we've got to start creating chances, because we're not doing enough to prevent our team from defending as well. Fitness, I don't know how they're going to work on that. I really don't. I don't know. Just as a sort of final point, talking about signings, I mean, people have said Declan Rice, I'd rather buy a bowl of pasta. I don't rate Declan Rice. I think he's an expensive mistake waiting to happen just because he's got a British passport. Ndidi would be ideal, but I don't think we can sign someone like that. So United are going to have to use their scouting network that they've apparently got from all over the world. There's probably somebody in France or Italy or Spain who can be the next Kante, who can be the next David Silva. You know, there's got to be players out there like that. It can't always be the Brexit option. So I think we need to stop looking at people like Declan Rice and Sean Longstaff. There's a whole world out there. Let's use it. Because I'll tell you what, it'll be better value for money every day of the week. I think I've done it all. That was a good show. Thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. No live show at 8 o'clock tonight because I'm doing Chelsea versus Ajax on That's Football if you want to join me for that live. Please smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Do check out the podcast. It's brilliant. It's a really good podcast with a lot of inside information about Manchester United and the chaos that reigns there. And if you've enjoyed that chat about fitness, you'll love the podcast. It's really in depth and there's some really, really good discussion in there. Links are in the video description for that. And if you want to get one of these beauties for Christmas or for now, it probably is my favourite one. Links in the video description for the United Stand t-shirt range. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. I really hope you enjoyed that fitness bit, because it's something that doesn't get spoken about, and it's important. And the risk taken in the tactics is important as well. And a lot of people don't. They want to, you know, especially the mainstream media, they want to give you like the easy stuff to digest. Oh, it's about this player, it's about this. And actually, there's some major issues at United, and the podcast goes into it a lot more on more areas. But that fitness thing is something we should be talking about a hell of a lot more, and nobody's talking about it apart from us on the United Stand. This promise of fitness, and we're dropping off a cliff in the second half. There's a huge issue, and injuries as well, all the injuries. There's a huge issue with Manchester United's physical conditioning. Massive issue. Thanks for watching.